Round up your cows and put Grandma to bed. It's time for yet another season of From, where my head explodes because this show is absolutely insane. For those of you new to these videos, this is a breakdown of all the biggest theories, mysteries, and hidden details found in the episode. I also have a full Season 2 video for those of you wanting to brush up, which I'll leave a link to in the comments below. And before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe and leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below. We start right where we left off at the end of Season 2. With Tabitha at St. Anthony's Hospital. A fitting name since St. Anthony is the patron saint of lost things. We also get a location at Camden, Maine, but just how Tabitha got here after being shoved from the lighthouse by the boy in white is still unknown. But it can't be a coincidence that she just so happens to be brought to Victor's hometown. We'll later see that the lunchbox has his home address, a home address where Tabitha will meet Victor's father. This all seems to be part of the boy in white's plan. Shortly before pushing Tabitha from the lighthouse, he says, "Sorry, this is all part of the plan." The boy in white can see into the future. He was the one who told Victor of the attack on Colony House in Season 1. He also seems to be the opposing force to the evil entity controlling the town, the one that manifested as Boyd's wife at the end of Season 2. Now, Tabitha will see this boy in white in Maine, but it's unclear whether or not this is simply a figment of her imagination, or if this boy can traverse the real world and from town. Speaking of the real world, Tabitha calls her mother to let her know she's okay, but holds off on telling her about her whereabouts. Tabitha's priority here is finding a way to get her family home, and getting others involved would only jeopardize this, as they would likely find her story crazy. What I'm really curious about is how long she's been gone. Does time work differently in From Town, or is it the same as our own? Remember that Victor told us the seasons hadn't changed in ages, so perhaps time is different there too. Tabitha, completely lost, ventures to a nearby church where she confesses to the priest that it feels like her mind is breaking. She says that if there is a God, then he made a horrible place with pain and suffering, and blames God for her child, Thomas, falling off the change table to his death. Her journey leads to Victor's childhood home, where we're introduced to Victor's father. Not much is known about him, but he certainly recognizes Victor's disco lunchbox. It seems as though Papa Victor wasn't with his wife Miranda and two children, Victor and Eloise, the day they got transported to From Town, and judging by his haggard look, demeanor, and six-pack of beer, he may have turned to alcohol to cope with the pain of this loss. Boyd certainly has had a rough go of it after being shot by Reggie, who believed Boyd caused all the town's hardship by venturing into the forest at the end of Season 1. He's been haunted by the ghost of Father Catry. Whatever evil entity has its grasp over From Town has the ability to take the shape of dead characters. In the Season 2 finale, we saw it take the form of Boyd's dead wife, who eerily stated,
"It's not your fear that feeds the forest boy. It's hope."
So this really begs the question, what side is the ghost of Father Catry on? Now, there are two other issues that are still unresolved from Season 2. None of the three townsfolk who fell into these comas want to talk about their experiences, and it's yet to be explained how Boyd destroying the music box broke them from this spell. But more pressing is the issue of food. All their crops have rotted away, with Donna exclaiming that the soil is poison. To make matters worse, the townsfolk have raided Tian-Chen's food stores and stolen the remaining food. Randall even tries to steal a goat, and Boyd is stuck in the middle trying to keep the town from falling into chaos. According to Donna, the cows could last them about a month if they had to resort to eating them, so things are looking pretty dire. The weather also looks to be turning to winter, something Victor says is strange, for any time the town changes, something bad happens. But Boyd's problems really take a turn for the worse when the monsters let loose the cattle. It becomes a sort of race against time to return the animals before they go missing or are slaughtered. At the same time, Sarah helps Julie and Ethan hide from the old lady monster. The last time we saw Sarah was at the dungeon ruins in Season 2, where she told Boyd that the town's evil entity is laughing at him for setting it free. Boyd and Tien manage to get one of the cows in the barn and place a talisman on the door, thinking they are safe, but unfortunately the monsters have already made their way inside. Therefore, the talisman does not work. Among them is a cowboy monster who somehow knows the lines Boyd screamed in the forest after he made his way out of the dungeon in the Season 2 finale.
You don't wake me
Boyd tries to fight them off, and notice how one of these monsters slashes his left shoulder, the same shoulder he received the gunshot wound. Whether that's just a coincidence or has some further meaning is yet to be known. There's also the added aspect of Boyd's blood. In Season 2, he was infected with some sort of parasitic worm, which made his blood poisonous to the monsters. Could this worm have left antibodies in his blood that might continue to help him? But it's Kenny's poor mother, Tian-Chen, who seems to face the brunt of the monster's attack, making Boyd watch as they torture her. This is what the monsters made the girl in the woods with the nail in her head do in Season 2. Now, we never actually see her die, so there's still the possibility she'll be alive, but it doesn't look good. Jim and Kenny have their own adventure this episode as they begin their quest to find Tabitha. Boyd even gives them some pointers on how to get to the mysterious lighthouse which he saw in Season 1. If they find their way to Spiderweb Forest, they're on the right track. Now, even though Jim and Kenny follow the right path, they're led to an entirely new area. This leads me to believe the forest is constantly changing. Remember that Victor took measurements of the trees and found that they had moved. A new location we haven't seen yet are these 3 log cabins. No one in town has ever mentioned these before, and it appears as if they're from pioneer times. Remember back in Tabitha's dream from Season 1, we saw these carvings of different dates, which could mean the town has been around since at least 1506. We also have these absolutely creepy statues like they came off the set of the Blair Witch Project. There's even one that has nails hammered into its head, similar to that girl we met in the forest. I think it's a safe way to say that these are more of a warning than a welcome sign. Jim hasn't really been the smartest when it comes to making plans, and he thinks it's a great idea to set up a camp in one of these cabins by the creepy statues. At night, they're interrupted by a strange noise outside, but luckily they have that talisman to keep them safe. We never find out what caused this noise. Is it one of the monsters, or could it be one of the animals that got loose, which may alert Kenny and Jim to head back to town? Jim, after all, does make the decision to discontinue his journey for fear of leaving his kids without a parent. Colony House has a new resident bitch.
It's bad enough you're getting double rations without you hogging the bathroom.
This is Nikki, and I hope she gets eaten very soon. She's waiting for Fatima, who's been experiencing morning sickness, the result of her pregnancy. A pregnancy that wasn't supposed to be possible after being told in the real world that she would never be able to have kids. It's long been theorized that the drowned woman who haunts Elgin is Fatima, considering they wear very similar clothing, although it should be noted that in the end credits, the woman playing her is Asian and is credited as Kimono Woman. The only other real connection we have of Fatima and water comes in Season 1 when Ellis tells her to get into the water because she's too dry. Could this have been some foreshadowing?
Yeah, you just look too dry. Come here.
What do you guys think? Is the drowned woman Fatima? Let me know in the comments. Elgin doesn't want to sleep, as the drowned woman only seems to appear in his dreams. Elgin has some sort of connection with dreams. In fact, he had a prophetic dream that foretold his arrival to Fromtown, so I think that's something we'll see explored more this season. For those of you who have seen my previous videos, you know I'm really suspicious of Tilly. She tells Ellis that she gave birth to 7 kids and was totally fine, so Fatima will be too. It's 7 kids that Jade found in the cave last season. If you want a full breakdown of why I think Tilly is suspicious, do check out my Season 2 ending explained video, which I'll leave a link to in the comments below. The last person I want to talk about is Jade. Season 2 saw him get increasingly obsessed with the symbol, and the last time we saw him, he had ventured into the cave and found those creepy children on stone slabs repeating the word Ankui, a word we have yet to decipher. He's drunk and frustrated because he's not sure what the children were trying to tell him. He seems a little more with it when he gets out of the drunk tank, but I'm curious where his story goes considering there haven't been any more clues. Now, this is part of the video where we look at the trailer to see if there are any clues on where the show is headed, so if you want to turn away now, you've been warned. I won't be looking at every clip, just the ones I think are relevant for future episodes. Well, it looks like Boyd makes it out of the barn. Here we see him alongside Jade carrying what is likely the corpse of Tian-Chen. Jade finds this one-eyed man in the forest who will later see drinking from a skull. Later on, it looks as though he attacks Jade. I wonder if this guy is in any way connected to the log cabins Jim and Kenny found. Here we have Tabitha and Victor's father underneath a bottle tree. The bottle tree in From Town is where Victor found his dead mother, and it also acts as a faraway tree which transports people to the lighthouse. Beside a wall of family photos featuring young Victor and Eloise, Victor's father says he thinks Tabitha is here for what's in the basement. This basement has all sorts of paintings of the Ankui children, more than likely painted by Victor's father. Maybe he has the answers to what Ankui means. Here's a shot of what appears to be a funeral, most likely Tian-Chen's. And who is this? There's a monster behind her. Maybe this is someone new coming to town. If you zoom in on her patch, you can make out what appears to be a boat, and if you cross-reference this with Camden, Maine's police patches, they look eerily similar. We'll also see this ambulance from Knox County, the county where Camden is located. So episode 1 ends on an insane cliffhanger. Tian-Chen could be dead, Boyd is cuffed by the monsters, and the last of the town's food supply is taking off into the forest. It's going to take something big to set our heroes back on the right track, and I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing for more From videos. But now I turn it over to you. What do you think will happen next? I want to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.